Well, hey there! Today I'm going to teach you how to make these paper flower candy kisses for Valentine's Day.
Alright, so to make this project, you're just going to need a few basic supplies. I am going to be using my Cricut machine for this, but you could absolutely use a pair of scissors to hand cut these out. They're not too difficult to cut out by hand. There's PDF printable templates that come with this design. This design is totally free on my blog, so if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you click the link that is below in the video description. If you're on my blog already, then you can just scroll up to the supply section and information on how to get these templates is available for you. So for the rest of our supplies here, you're going to need some cardstock. I recommend between 50 and 65 pound cardstock. I wouldn't go above 80 pound if you can avoid it. I'm also using a Cricut pen because I will be writing with my Cricut machine Happy Valentine's Day on this little banner piece here. If you don't have a Cricut, then you could just write your message on it as well by hand with another pen. And then I need also a thin wood dowel in order to curl my petals. I'm also going to be using some foam tab tape here, and that's just to stick our candy into the center to secure it there, but also make it very easy to be removed. I'm using a green Cricut mat for this project, and of course you'll want candy of your choice. You can use like Reese's peanut butter cups or Hershey Kisses work really well for this project. You will need a hot glue gun for actually assembling our flowers. And then lastly, and this is totally optional, I'm also going to use a wire to show you an alternative way where you can put this on a wire and actually give it as a stemmed flower. The most popular way is to probably give it like this because it takes less work, where it doesn't have a stem, but if you want to add a stem, I'm going to show you that as well. So let's go ahead and get started, and we're going to cut our templates out first, and then I'll show you how to assemble this. You could choose to do this in any color you like. I'm choosing reds and pinks here for Valentine's Day. If you're unfamiliar with how to upload an SVG file to Cricut, I can help you with that as well. I will link that below this video and in the blog post that goes along with this. Always helpful to peel your mat away from your material so that you can help eliminate the curling of your material, especially if you're dealing with a fresh mat, which is very sticky. Okay, so I'm going to repeat this process until I've also cut out the centers and the leaves. These are pre-sized for you, but if you want to make them a little bigger or a little smaller, you can play around with that. Just keep in mind the type of candy that you're using in the center because you want to make sure that it will fit and it's not too small. Okay, so to just assemble this project, I'm going to use 2 of these base petals here and 1 of the center petal. You can change it up if you want for your preference, but this is what I'm using, and then a leaf. And then of course our little tag here that we wrote on, and then you'll want to choose a piece of candy. Like I said, Reese's or Hershey Kisses tend to work well for this. So I'm going to start by taking my thin wood dowel. You could also use a spare glue stick, like a hot glue stick, to curl each of these petal points. This is just going to give our flower some dimension and make it look a whole lot more lifelike and pretty. Okay, once you get those curled, go ahead and pick one and just slightly flatten the bottom one out just a little bit, and make sure that the top one kind of doesn't look over curled either. You want it to look natural. And I'm going to take one petal with the other and sort of tuck it over it just like this, and tuck the same way all the way around. And I'm going to sort of give it a bit of a twist, and this is just going to help the petals to want to stand up naturally. And then I'm going to use my glue gun here to add a little bit of glue to the bottom and place that right in the center, and go ahead and let it open up, and then try and aim to have the petal points fall so that they alternate between each other. This is going to let your flower look a lot more natural. So there we go, there's mine. And then we're gonna take the center next, and there's nothing fancy I do with the center here except gather all of the petal points in my hand, and I sort of pinch with my fingers at the base to just help it want to stand up on its own. And again, I'm going to get my glue gun here, and I'm going to stick that right into the center and let it open out. And you'll have something that looks like this at this stage here. Now, The next part I would do if I were making the one without the stem would be to put in the Hershey Kiss, but since I am going to show you how to stem this particular design, this particular flower here in this tutorial, because it's quite easy to see where to stop without the stem, I'm going to hold off on that until the end because I just don't want to have any extra weight in my center as I'm trying to work with the stem. So the next part here is going to be to grab your wire, and I'm using an 18 gauge wire here. You can use 20, actually I'm using a 20 gauge wire here. You can use 18, 22, any of those will work okay. So I am bending my wire at a 90-degree angle, about an inch down from the top. I'm then going to form a circle with my wire. So we have a 90-degree bend with a little circle there at the top. And I'm going to flip my flower over and grab my glue gun, and I'm going to add some glue right to the bottom center of my flower. And then we're going to flip this over, this stem, and I'm going to place that right in the middle there. Okay, just like that. And you can of course trim this stem down if you want. That's completely up to your preference. Now, while that's drying, and you might want to hold it with one hand, I'm going to take my leaf here, and if you want, before you actually glue this on, you can fold this. This is totally optional. You can fold this in half and give it a little crease and a little curl here just to add some life to it. And then you're going to add some glue right here to the bottom center area, just like that. And then I use this to place right over that center stem to not only hide it, but also to reinforce it. So just add that bit of extra glue and then place that on there and wait for it to dry for a second, okay? And when you flip over, you'll see that we have a nice pretty leaf sticking out on that side. Okay, so I've clipped my stem down a little bit there just to make it easier to work with. So there's that. And then I'm gonna add on my little phrase here, and you can add that off the side here. I like to stick it right on top of the leaf personally, or kind of off to the side of the leaf. Let's see what it looks like if we kind of change it up a little here. It could be fun to go out the other way, but I think I'm gonna stick with what I have here on the leaf. So I'm just gonna add a little glue to the back side of this after I've written my message on it. And let's go ahead and stick that in there just like that. You can sort of curl it up a little bit if you want to have more dimension to it. That's totally up to you. So now we have our little message. It says Happy Valentine's Day on it. And the last step is to add our candy into the center. So I'm using those foam tabs that I mentioned, and I'm just going to take one off. These are linked for resources below in the video, in the blog post, so you can find exactly what I'm using if you're not sure where to look for these. I removed the little backs to reveal the stickiness. I put it right into the center of the flower there, right into the center, and then I go ahead and place my Hershey Kiss or whatever candy you might be using into the center, and that is going to hold that candy there until your recipient is ready to take it off and to eat it. You can make a whole bunch of these to give like a bouquet of them to somebody, or just make one each for maybe a friend, a coworker, a child. Maybe your child wants to make them for her class or something like that. These are really fun to make, and they're not at all hard. They are beginner friendly, definitely, and they're also easy to cut by hand or to use a cutting machine. And like I said, these templates are completely free on the blog. So you can stem them, or you can leave the stem off and just attach the leaf and your little message to it as well. So I really hope you guys like this craft. Super simple, super fun. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss all my freebies and new crafts coming out. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks so much.